Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, our moments with God, our moments with the Word of God, our moments with the love, compassion, and forgiveness of God, our moments also with the holy ones of God, the saints of God, those who have gone before us and those who are trying to continue to live a holy life following the words of Jesus and the commandments in the Bible. And not to forget our own inner self, because ultimately we are responsible, or I am responsible for my spiritual life. It is all right how the saints have lived, but they have left an example for me to follow them. And if you like, you may please share the video with others as well as subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Yesterday in the Gospel, we had the narration of the Last Supper of Jesus, and as it would be a coincidence that today again the same scene is repeated but from another Gospel. Yesterday was from the Gospel of St. John, the narration of the Last Supper. Today it is from the Gospel of Matthew. And first of all, you will notice that both the versions are slightly different. And this is one thing we must notice always while reading the Word of God, that while we may be reading the same story, there will be differences according to the evangelist who has written it. And therefore, we must go deeper into the readings to find out why they are different, what is the difference, who had what background, and this makes our understanding of the gospel and of the Word of God much richer. That is one thing. Secondly, we will notice that the main focus of this Last Supper is that Jesus has gathered in a large room, because the disciples asked Jesus, first of all, in today's Gospel, where shall we prepare for the Passover? Actually, this supper is the Passover meal. Passover meal is what in the Old Testament, when God passed over in Egypt, when he was trying to free the Israelites from the clutches of Pharaoh, then he passed over the houses, and where the blood of the lamb was, those houses were spared from any harm, any death of the firstborn. Wherever there was no blood on the doorposts of the lamb, those houses had damage. Now, the Israelites that time, at the time of Jesus, and even today, continue to celebrate this Passover. Passover is one of the biggest feasts for the Jews, as well as now for us. That Passover meal turns into the Last Supper of Jesus. Actually, what Jesus was doing was celebrating the Passover meal, because that was important for all the Jews. And this Passover meal is a great festive meal. The roasted lamb is always there. It is with one kind of unleavened bread. That is important also. Unleavened bread, not like the bread we get from the bakeries. Those are leavened breads, but these should be unleavened breads with bitter herbs. And therefore the disciples asked Jesus, where do you want us to have this Passover meal? And Jesus tells them, go to such and such house, maybe a house like this with, you see, the tables were already arranged, and there are it was a kind of a big hall, I suppose, where the people gathered along with Jesus for the Last Supper. Now, this is supposed to be a very festive mood, but Jesus was sad. Jesus was sad because although the disciples had not known, Jesus knew that his end was coming. And the end was starting with this meal of the lamb that they were eating as Passover, because soon he himself would become that lamb which otherwise the Israelites sacrificed and ate as they were ready to leave. Now Jesus would become that lamb to sacrifice, to free us from our sinful ways and from the slavery of sin. That time, the Lord, as he passed over the houses, freed the Israelites from the slavery of the Pharaoh Now, Jesus is going to free us from the sacrifice, from the slavery of our sinfulness and death and to eternal damnation. But here, what is interesting is how Judas gets tempted and wants to sell Jesus for 30 silver pieces. And if you remember in yesterday's gospel, we had heard that as Judas tasted the bread that Jesus gave him, the devil entered into him. Did the bread cause him to caused the devil to enter into him? No. Actually, this is a lesson for all of us, that while we are doing good things, we are celebrating, etc., suddenly the devil, who is waiting always to trap us, because he doesn't like the good ways, our company with God or our company with the holy ones or our becoming aware of our own selves. He doesn't like that. He wants to distract us. And those of us who can resist that, that is certainly to be grateful for God's grace. But otherwise, we may fall like Judas did fall and betray our master, betray master the Lord, as also did Judas. And while we are remembering this celebration of the Last Supper, probably with Jesus in the upper room, this is an upper room. Also in this building, this is an upper room. Let us remember that come what may, we shall try not to betray Jesus, but as he shares this meal with us, we will be accompanying him on his way. And if you like, you may please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.